Ladies and gentlemen, behold the stunning beauty and grandeur of vac metal on a modern action figure.
That's some bird.
Partly metal, partly real.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the wait is finally over, and we have the vac metal Super 7 Ultimate Silverhawks, Steelheart, and Quicksilver in hand. And I had to get some footage of these guys in the natural light because it is a sight to behold, my friends. So a couple of things right off the bat. So Super 7 is apparently not including shipper boxes or sleeves with their Ultimates figures anymore. Besides some plastic wrap, this is how they come out of the box. But oh my goodness, I was hoping and praying that these figures would look as good as they did when I saw them in person at PowerCon last year. And I'm happy to report that they do. They look absolutely gorgeous, especially in the sunlight. Oh my goodness. A huge part of me really just wants to keep these guys in box. But I know I can't. I've got to take them out and see how they look with all the different accessories and everything. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take Quicksilver and Steelheart out of the package and keep this review going, baby. Alright, so here is Steelheart first as she comes out of the package. And she is stunning, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. We're not going to leave her in this form for very long because I cannot help myself. I've got to get her in full Silverhawk space travel form. Let's do it right now. And yes, here we go. We've got Steelheart in her... Definitely got to get her up on a flight stand later. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So here we get the full 360 view of Steelheart in all her chromed out glory. And yeah, is it just me?
That's some bird.
All right, boom. Here is Quicksilver as he comes outside of the package. But again, as with Steelheart, we're not going to make you wait an inordinate amount of time before we get a nice look at Quicksilver in all his winged out glory. First, here is Quicksilver from the back, taking in the rays on a Memorial Day weekend. And holy crap, oh my goodness gracious. Here is Quicksilver, chromed all the way out, with the winged arms changed out, and his cool Silverhawk helmet on, switched out another chrome hand, and a flight non-chromed hand. And this is what we were waiting for. Oh my goodness. So beautiful, so gorgeous. This is, goodness gracious, something special. Here's Quicksilver's chromed out form from the back. The shininess, if there was a shininess scale, we would be off it already. Just absolutely gorgeous. This chromed out Quicksilver is taking my breath away, baby.
That's some bird.
All right, now let's check out the full loadout of accessories that comes with a vac metal Quicksilver here. First up, he does come with his little bird, and let's give you a closer look here. The bird here does have his little feet here marked right and left. They are articulated. The wings, I guess, do not move. They are just in a light gray here. It does have some speckles here, and he's been bagged up this whole time, so I think that's just part of the paint job. I don't know why those speckles would be there. The head moves around back and forth like that. And the way the feet are curved here, I guess you're supposed to sit the little bird on the arms here, but it's you kind of have to balance his wing on Quicksilver's head, and then you can get him balanced on Quicksilver's arm there. I very much prefer the ramen toy version When Ramen Toy did Quicksilver and he had his little bird, there was actually magnets in the bird's feet, which attached very easily to Quicksilver's arm. So I definitely prefer that version of bird design. Tallyhawk actually has a really cool feature where he's got actual magnets in the bottom of his feet. If you take a look here, you can put Tallyhawk right on Quicksilver's arm, and the magnets attach just like that. How cool is that? What a cool feature from Ramen Toy. In addition, we've got 4 sets of hands here. We have the wavy flight hand, sad goodbye hand here, 1 chromed out, 1 not chromed out. Then we have, checking the grapefruit hand, again, 1 chromed out, 1 regular, gripping hands, and fists there. Also, Quicksilver comes with 2 sets of arms, and that's because the engineering on the wings is such that the wings are attached to arms that you can switch out. Here's the peg. There's the hole. There you go. Very easy to move them in and out. Now, as you're manipulating the various parts here, one thing you do have to be careful about is the vac metal. Super 7 does warn you that some of the vac metal will flake off. I noticed, I think it was in Pixel Dan's review, he was noticing some of that vac metal flaking off. I'm not getting a ton of that here, except right on the peg. You can see it flaking off on the peg, and then again, actually this one's fine. Here, on some of the joints there, you can see it flaking off, I think there, but definitely on the pegs. So just be careful. I mean, that's part of the deal with this fully vac metal figure, is that you have to watch out for flaking on the vac metal. They do warn you about that, but I've been moving my Quicksilver around a lot. He's been in various rooms in the house, putting boxes on desks, messed around with, not getting a ton of the vac metal flaking, except right on the pegs, like I said before. Also comes with 2 heads. This is my favorite, of course, the spacesuit head, but that's easily popped off, and you can go with the human head like so, and you have your Quicksilver swapped out.
That's some bird.
As far as a quick run through on movement, like I said, the head is on a peg there. Plenty of movement all around. Articulation at the shoulders. There is a bicep swivel. Single jointed arms. Fists are removable. We have articulation at the top. A little bit of movement there. Back and forth as opposed to up and down, and also swivel at the waist. Legs kicking out here. Single jointed legs go back to there. Solid feet with rocker. Again, you're probably not going to want to spend a ton of time repeatedly articulating these figures because, again, you might run into an issue with the vac metal flaking off. The most important thing about articulation is how good does the figure feel in hand. These figures feel really great in hand. The only part that's even felt a little bit loose to me now is this left shoulder joint. Feels a little loose to me now. Doesn't just fall down, but feels looser than the other one for sure. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the movement. I should mention that the vac metal Silverhawks also come with this handy dandy little smudge wiper. This little cloth that you can shine your little Quicksilver up. There you go. Take care of any smudges. So next up we have Steelheart, looking absolutely gorgeous in her shiny purple here. I will note that Steelheart's bird companion, Razor, his feet actually fit on Steelheart's arm a lot more snug than Tallyhawk did on Quicksilver's arm. I don't know if you can see this, but I don't need to rest his wing on Steelheart's head at all. Fits snugly right on the arms. Also with Steelheart, we've got 3 heads with Steelheart. I only had 2 with Quicksilver. Hopefully I just didn't lose one. This one just sort of like a regular pensive look here. Pretty well painted, I would say. Looks pretty cool. This is the look you get when yet another box arrives. Then just like Quicksilver, we have 2 sets of arms. Again, we have the winged arms and the non-winged arms. 4 sets of hands, again with Steelheart. You have the wavy high five flying hands, the fists, right? Then these gripping hands, and then these, just open gesturing hands. Steelheart, I will say, again, similar articulation to Quicksilver. I don't want to move these guys around too much because I don't want the vac metal to flake off. I was having a little bit of that, again, with the joints and the pegs on Quicksilver. I haven't really had that on Steelheart yet, but I haven't really moved her around too much either. Steelheart does feel a little bit tighter than Quicksilver, but in a good way. And again, that's probably because I haven't moved her around as much as Quicksilver. And again, as you can see, she looks awesome. But there you go. That is the accessory loadout and just a little bit on the movement. All right, next up, we had to do some comparisons side-by-side shots. Of course, first up, we needed to do the vac metal toy version of Quicksilver next to the Super 7 Ultimates animated style Quicksilver here. People had a less than enthusiastic response to, I would say, and that's because he's basically gray for Greyhawks. I will say, getting him out of the package, there is a slight sheen to him, so it's not just flat gray, but it's pretty darn close. My big problem with the initial versions here was, if you were going to do a toy version and an animated version, that's fine, but to me, it does not evoke the cartoon to me. In the cartoon, they look shiny, the animation is done in such a way that it's supposed to look like metal, and it does. So if they wanted to do that version of the figure, but weren't ready to do the vac metal yet, or wanted to save it, or whatever, I don't care. There were ways to make it look more animated and look more metallic than I think what they did here. I think they would have been a lot better off doing cell shading like NECA does, where you have sort of like the black lining and like the white little splotches and stuff around that makes it look like the suit is glimmering, even though it's not, because it's animated. It's not actually metal, but they make it look like metal. This wasn't it. So I was personally disappointed in the initial version. I was happy to get a Silverhawk figure at all, but really this vac metal Quicksilver is what we were looking for the whole time. Now, to make up, I guess, for not being vac metal, the original animated style Quicksilver does come with a couple of extras that the vac metal version does not have, including like these two effects pieces. And while the vac metal toy version of Quicksilver comes with one Tallyhawk that we looked at earlier, quote-unquote animated style comes with 2 Tallyhawks, one with his wings splayed out and one with his wings tucked in nicely where he's just chilling.
That's some bird.
Now here's a shot of all of my Quicksilvers. We have the Super 7, here, let's fix his wing here. A Super 7 great. Now here is a shot of all of my Quicksilvers. First over here we have my Super 7 Ultimates Grayscale Quicksilver. Then of course the Super 7 Ultimates vac metal toy version of Quicksilver. The vintage original Kenner Quicksilver. And then in the back here we have my Ramen Toys Silverhawks Quicksilver. The vintage is always going to be number one in my heart. Still have a good amount of the vac metal on the torso here and on the arms, mostly gone from the left leg here. I really love the Ramen Toy Quicksilver too. There's a lot of things about the Ramen Toy version that I like better than the Super 7. Like I mentioned before, I love the Tallyhawk with the magnetic feet. I like the likeness, I think, on the Ramen Toys version. I like the face plates. I think that's very cool. But there are a few things that the Super 7 version just has over the Ramen Toy. The most obvious is this glorious vac metal, which takes it, I think, to number one. And also the Ramen Toy, that left leg just falls off constantly. And it's just, I did mention before, the shoulder has gotten a little bit loose. But even saying that, it's not anything close to how loose the left leg is on the Ramen Toy version. One thing a little bit interesting, but there we are, there's my whole crew of Quicksilvers. And here we go with Steelheart, both in the vac metal toy version and the Super 7 Ultimates original animated version. Now I will say, certainly in package and out of the package, Steelheart was not quite as disappointing in her coloring as Quicksilver was to me. Did think she looked pretty cool in and of herself. But next to the Vac Metal, there's really no comparison. The Vac Metal purple now this time instead of this pearlescent light blue on the left. The purple Vac Metal just goes so freaking hard. Also noted on both of the Vac Metal Silverhawks, we do have a little, Silverhawk insignia over the chest there. Like Quicksilver and like Quicksilver, Steelheart, the original version also comes with two birds, two razors, one with his little wings out, one with the wings tucked in here. I will say the original versions of the birds, a lot more paint detail on there. The original versions of the birds are actually better than the newer versions you get with the Vac Metal figures, but again, I guess that's part of the trade. All right, and here is the entire Silverhawks team. Well, actually, it's all of my Silverhawks. Even that's not entirely true. I do have another Steel Will and Bird here, and I do have some of the Silverhawks villains, including some of the Super 7 Ultimates Silverhawks villains, including Monstar. But I decided to focus here on the mainly the good guys here, and I think it's a super cool, impressive collection I've got going on. Super excited about these guys. There you go, guys. Silverhawks. Now let's check out the new Vac Metal Super 7 Ultimates, Quicksilver and Steelheart, next to some other Vac Metal action figures, or just action figures that have some cool, shiny aspects to them. Down in front, we have a convention-exclusive Stan Solo Creations, super awesome, rad Vac Metal Boba Fett. Of course, we've got Destro. In the back, we've got a carbonized silver version of the Black Series Stormtrooper. Yes, I'm the guy. I like carbonized. Not all of them, but this one I thought was super cool. In the back on the left, we've got a Super 7 Reaction Cobra Commander with a Vac Metal faceplate. He even has a Vac Metal faceplate on the packaging there. Micronauts. Right here we have the Cosmic Legion's Red Jet Pilot with some super cool shiny metallic paint going on there. Shout out to Joe Vassapolo. And in the front here we have the Motu Origins Battle Armor He-Man with the Vac Metal. And the He-Man here in particular is important because it was this figure that came out with the Vac Metal torso before the Vac Metal Silverhawks were announced that made me believe and realize that Vac Metal is absolutely possible on modern action figures because they did it. Just for fun, here is Quicksilver and Steelheart next to some other, bird persons. We've got Kenner Superpowers Hawkman, and then we've got the G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero Cobra Raptor. And again, Raptor here. G.I. Joe Classified just came out with their first version of Raptor, but I'm going to hold out for a version that's more similar to or inspired by the vintage version, the crazy birded out Raptor that makes no damn sense. Give me a crazy cloth winged apparatus as opposed to the, movie vulture wings that they've got there. This is the one we need, G.I. Joe Classified, this one.
Yep, here is the absolute money shot, Steelheart and Quicksilver in full flight pose. And here are just two of the most gorgeous action figures you will ever see in full flight pose. The wait is finally over. So there you have it. There is my review of the Super 7 Ultimates, Vac Metal toy version, Silverhawks, Quicksilver, and Steelheart. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and until the next time, don't forget the #1 rule. Be cool.